I'm excited about this one, guys. This is one of those fragrances that did a bit of a 180 for me. I tried it once, I gave it a spray, and I thought it smelled all right, but then things happened, got other fragrances. This one got pushed back. I've actually had this fragrance for probably a couple months now, but just recently have I started picking it up and testing it again, and well, I've fallen in love. Today we're going to be checking out Pasha De Cartier Parfum, the new 2020 release. I'm going to tell you how this one smells, how it performs, when you can wear it, and ultimately, if I think this one's worth picking up. I'm sure you guys have an idea of what my answer is going to be for that one, but make sure you stick around. We'll break down the scent, tell you if it compares to anything else, to my nose, and all of that fun stuff. If you want to pick this fragrance up, there will be a link down below. It is available on discounters, of course. That's always the way to go. Pick it up on a discount and save yourself a bunch of money. Hit those links, check it out. Let's go and get into the review. So one thing I want to clarify for this one is this smells basically nothing like the original Pasha De Cartier EDT. I've done a review on that one on the channel already. That one's a bit more of an aromatic fougere style of a scent. You can check that review out for more info. This does not smell like that. So if you're wanting a stronger, richer version of that scent, this isn't going to be it. In terms of, it's smelling similar. This is a richer fragrance for sure, but it doesn't have any resemblance to that original fragrance. I just wanted to clarify that. Some brands will do that, some brands won't. Sometimes they will increase the performance and make a more rich version and call it a parfum or an EDP, and it'll be relatively the same. Sometimes they won't. In this situation, nothing like the EDT. So let's go and jump right into the scent. When I first spray this one on, you get hit with a lot of stuff right away, and the opening is really, really nice. In the opening, I'm getting some sandalwood, some fir, and also some whiskey or an alcoholic boozy note. So it starts off kind of sweet and vibrant and just a little bit fresh, and honestly, it starts off really catching your attention. As you start to work into the dry down, you'll start to pick up on a little bit of tonka bean. And one interesting thing that I find about this fragrance is it reminded me of something, but it wasn't the fragrance itself. It was a certain note or aroma chemical or accord in here that was reminding me of something. And it took me a while to figure it out. But for me, this kind of reminds me of that like wood shavings, pencil shaving smell that you get from the original Gucci Pour Homme or something like Bentley Absolute, which is kind of modeled after Gucci Pour Homme. If you've smelled that fragrance, you'll know what I mean. It's got this wood shavings, pencil shavings type of smell going on, which may sound off-putting. I don't mean it to be that way. I like it. I like that type of thing. It almost has like a bit of a dry woodiness in here that I would compare to something like the original Gucci Pour Homme. That's kind of something that this fragrance has in here. Now, it's not the whole fragrance. Again, you got other stuff going on here, but there was some little thing about this one that was reminding me of something else, and after thinking about it, I think that's what it is. And from this fragrance, I would imagine that's coming from the patchouli that's in here. Patchouli can oftentimes put off that type of vibe. I get kind of a similar thing from Davidoff Zeno, which is another fragrance I've recently checked out and reviewed here on the channel. That one's got like a dirty earthiness, and that's coming from the patchouli. That's probably the same thing from this one. I get quite a bit of patchouli from this one. I get patchouli, a nice creamy sandalwood, a nice kind of green woody fir, and of course that alcohol note that is pretty prominent in here. You get that in the opening, you get that into the mid and dry down as well. I'll be honest with you guys, this is a really good fragrance. Like, this is one of those stunners, like one of those mind blowers for me, just because it's one that will sneak up on you. If you don't like it at first, give it a try again later on. Maybe just set it aside. If you have a sample or a full bottle, set it aside, just kind of, let it sit for a while and then revisit it every now and then, because I can imagine for most of you, you'll end up coming around to it and really appreciating it. Like, it is a surprisingly good scent. I wasn't expecting to like it this much, and I just didn't think it was going to be this good. Again, I like the original Pasha De Cartier EDT, but I like this one a lot better just as a fragrance overall. Of course, I love my aromatic fougères, but I have aromatic fougères that I like better than Pasha De Cartier EDT. This one is on a whole nother level in terms of being kind of a woody, boozy, spicy type of scent. It smells incredible. You do get a fair amount of benzoin in this fragrance, especially in the dry down. That kind of comes off as smelling like vanilla, like a vanillic type of scent. you will pick up on that in here. It's kind of giving a bit of a sweet warmth to the whole composition. So let's go and talk about when you can wear this fragrance. In terms of seasons, definitely again, fall and winter leaning. For this fall, this is going to be a stunner and a really good heavy hitter for the season of fall coming up. If you want something like this would be a killer one. Wintertime, it will work really nice as well. Just the colder weather. It's got like a spiciness. It's got a warm sexiness and this type of thing. If you're wearing it out in the fall, in the winter, this is going to be turning heads for sure. Performance on my skin is also really respectable. Longevity in that 7 to 8 hour range. Sometimes I'll get a little bit more, maybe 9 hours, just kind of depends. In terms of projection, it's actually a pretty strong projector. You can spray this one on your hand and not have to keep bringing it up to your nose to smell it. I mean, you will pick up on whiffs of it with just your everyday movements. It'll project pretty good. I find that this one will create a nice scent bubble around you with just a handful of sprays. 2 to 3 sprays will have you set up to have a nice scent bubble around you. People will be able to smell you for sure. Talking about compliments, I think this one's going to be a pretty good compliment getter. Now, it's not going to be in the ballpark of some other super sweet compliment getting fragrances for wintertime, because this one does have a bit more of a grown up and mature smell to it. Something like Versace Eros doesn't have, right? That one, very good compliment getter, but it's also much more youthful. This one has that mature type of thing going on. I mean, when you smell this stuff, it smells like a dressed up guy who knows what he's doing and is very successful and well put together is kind of how I describe it. So definitely more of a higher end, expensive smelling fragrance, but it's also going to be a compliment getter as well because it does smell sexy and a lot of people are going to be into this one. Quality of this fragrance is great. I have no issues with anything smelling synthetic or sharp or harsh. Everything fits together really nicely with this one and it just smells expensive. It smells high-end. These fragrances aren't that expensive. Again, I will link it down below to FragranceNet or FragranceX, whichever one has it in stock for the better price. You can get this one heavily discounted and it smells like it could be a $100+ fragrance. It really does, but you can get them for probably half the price, a little over half the price. Really, really good quality here. Really nice blend, a nice composition. It just fits together and everything works really, really well. Again, do keep in mind, probably not going to be for everyone here. You have to be into the spicier, woodier, boozy scents to like this one. But if you like that type of thing, you're going to like this one. And also quickly to touch on some comparisons, I was going to do this earlier on in the video, but I kind of forgot. Fragrantica, you'll see it's kind of compared to Mugler Pure Malt. To be honest with you, I don't get that. Pure Malt is much more fresh to my nose. This one goes in a bit more of a sweet direction here, just from the balsamic notes. You have the nice sandalwood and so on. The tonka bean goes sweeter for me. It also is getting compared to the original Bentley for Men. I don't really get that comparison either. I mean, maybe I could get a little bit of a comparison to the Intense version, but it's really kind of stretching it for me. I would say more or less this one kind of fits in its own genre. You know, it didn't really, you know, maybe it took some inspiration from some others out there, or just like, you know, just about every fragrance does, but it really kind of fits in its own spot and kind of does its own thing, which is really nice and refreshing for a designer release, especially, you know, a new designer release. So guys, that's pretty much going to do it for me. That is my thoughts on Pasha De Cartier Parfum. And of course, do I think it's worth picking up? Absolutely, if you're into this sort of thing. It's a really, really nice fragrance. Let me know what you think down below, and remember, the link to pick this one up will be down below as well. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow morning with another one. Take care.